We had to work pretty hard for it, but we knew we would, and you don't know when you don't know when the opposition are going to really stretch out their absolute best. Could be in the first quarter, could be in the second quarter. Today it was in the third quarter. They got up and going a bit, but really our players responded to get back to what they were all about and really keep the game out of reach.
Did you sense that your players might have come out a little bit relaxed after half time, or do you think it was just a case of St Kilda lifting their intensity?
Yeah, I don't think the Saints lifted their intensity. I think they came out to play with the intensity that they brought from the start, and I didn't sense that our players weren't ready to play, but there were just things didn't go really well for us. They just got on top, and sometimes those things happen, and then as we readjust, things don't work perfectly as you go. It takes a little bit of time to get it right again. So the aim is to give the opposition no minutes of them dominating the game. That's where we would like to get to, but we're playing a pretty good side today and in very good form, and they had a good period where they got on top.
You look like you might have lost Adam Selwood again. He clutched in his hand in the second half.
Yeah, he's. I don't know if we'll lose him or not. I mean, that wound's healing up pretty well, and it's going to be a lot better again this week. He's still had all his stitches in. So in terms of protecting the wound, hopefully, he's just. We knew it was going to be sore for him. We knew he was going to pull up really sore after the game, playing with it, but should be a lot better than he was even this time last week.
What about Cox's effort in the first half?
Yeah.
Is there the answer in terms of Kennedy missing?
He's played that role for a long time now for us, but more so this year as Nick's developing. He spends more time forward. So he'll continue to rotate through the ruck. His last 2 weeks in the ruck with Nick out were outstanding for us. I think he enjoyed having Nick back today and spending a bit more time forward.
But will you look to play him even more time forward, given that Kennedy's still
That
out?
will be situational. So that will depend on what opposition teams are doing and what suits us at that time.
Handy to have up his sleeve, though?
He's a handy player. Yeah, the big fella.
Bo, did you have an injury scare in the warm-up?
Yeah, I was a little bit worried it was going to be too warm, so I just made sure I got out and checked out the weather. But just through the warm-up, just felt a bit tight in my hamstring, and worked with the medicos to see if I was going to be okay, and got the tick, and obviously got through the game.
The way you played, you want to have a hamstring scare every week.
Yeah, no, it's not the ideal way to go into a game, but it was good to get through, and glad I contributed.
Where are you at with Matt Prittis for next week?
Well, we would expect that he'll be fine, and that's certainly what we'll be hoping, that he's fully recovered. It hasn't behaved like most concussions do, where usually the symptoms can linger for 3 or 4 days at the most. Lingered more out to 6 days for Matt this time, but with every day that goes by, he's feeling a heap better.
How close did he come to playing? Was he a good chance, or was he ruled out a bit earlier in the week?
No, he wasn't ruled out early in the week, but we thought he was going to struggle to get up. But in terms of overcoming all the symptoms, that could have happened on Saturday. So we were prepared to wait and see how he was tracking. On Saturday, he was still feeling pretty average, so we had contingencies there.
What are some of the symptoms that he's experiencing at the moment?
It's hard to describe, but when he tries to run, he just doesn't feel right. So it's not something you can sort of say he's got certain symptoms, but just either whether you call it fuzzy in the head or whatever, but just doesn't feel like he can run normally.
Is he okay now, or is he still suffering?
I haven't spoken to him today, but talking to him yesterday, his plan was 3 really good sessions this week in preparation for the game, so he was feeling a heap better yesterday.
Is there any concern, is it that thing they call it concussion syndrome, or where these effects tend to linger and linger and linger?
Yeah, no, you're asking the wrong person to go any further than what I know. Really our docs will assess him, and when he's right to play, he'll be back playing. We're hopeful he'll be back training tomorrow.
Do you feel like you covered well for him today?
Yeah, I was really pleased with the way the boys went about it. We used Adam Selwood through the midfield, and he was sore, so he wasn't anywhere near 100%. But the good part, we've got a few options we can look at through there at different times. So Maston got a bit more time in the midfield. Kobe Stevens in the last quarter as well, which was great for him.
Pretty pleased with how Brad Chevrolet went today. Probably
Yeah.
the best game for the club.
Yeah, that's always up for people to decide how well he went, but he's developing along pretty well. We think he's going to be a very strong player for us for a long period of time. So he keeps working on improving, and he'll become the player he aspires to be.
Is it key for him to have more time out in the AFL stage rather than develop through the waffle?
Everyone's different. Yeah, I think we're happy with the way it was developing in the waffle. Sometimes you can put players in the AFL system too early. I've seen it over my time where players at 18, 19 get opportunities to play, and people can make calls on whether they're good enough or not early, and they get delisted and you don't see them again. We're quite happy with the way Brad's developing with the mix he's had.
Did you manage Nick Natanui a little differently today, John, with him coming off the hamstring? He seemed to, spend a little bit more time forward maybe than in the ruck than he has done previously, and also had some reasonable stints on the bench as well.
Yeah, just obviously it was pretty warm, first game back, and we've got Lynch and Cox who are adequate ruckman for us. Probably a bit harsh calling Cox adequate ruckman, but we've got that option. We've used Lynch in the ruck probably the last 3 weeks at times. So even going back to when Nick and Coxie were playing together before Nick went out of the side, Lynchy would go in for stints. So he brings a different mix to it, and it also helps us keep those guys fresh for longer.
Not an element of precaution with Nick and his hamstring to make sure he didn't overextend.
Well, in a way there is. Yeah, in a way there is. But we're more than comfortable, especially when they've lost Stanley and they've got Blake and Kaczynski in the ruck, then we were comfortable to throw Lynch in there for periods.
Do you have to give Coxie a talking to about not being able to run games out, cramping halfway through?
Bo's already done that, I think. Sort of has raised that with him.
Planking in the middle of it.
Is he getting too old to ruck?
Well, he's had 2 pretty big weeks. There's always a strategy behind when you kick 3 or 4 goals. There's one way to let the coach know to leave you forward. Just show him you got cramp. I'm a bit tired. Leave me there.
Did you see a 3-goal haul coming one stage, Bo?
No, I don't know what I was thinking about, but no, happy to get a couple and hopefully get a couple next week.
Was there any alarm at any stage in the last quarter? They got within 3 kicks, still, enough minutes to go to make it count on the scoreboard. Was there any a hint of panic amongst the group when you took those shots to ice the game? I think 3 or 4 of you missed shots that could have basically put them away.
I don't think you panic. I think the game moves so quickly that you always got to be on the top of your game. And we saw Port Adelaide beating North Melbourne that the game's changed quite quick. And I don't think at any stage we actually panicked. I think we did close out the game well. And when we got back to 3 goals up or 4 goals up, we did seal the game.